feeling remorseful. And after that, I started to question everything.
By the summer of 1970, Vietnam has become the longest-running war in American history, and there's still no obvious end in sight. Some 500 U.S. airmen are being held captive as prisoners of war in North Vietnam. One of them is Porter Halliburton, who's been in prison for 5 years.
I remember being shot down, and as soon as I got on the ground, I was surrounded by all these Vietnamese. I was held at a prison called the Hanoi Hilton. And so it began a period of brutal treatment. They were after information that we were not going to give them. And so there were lots of beatings. Almost everybody was tortured. I had this terrible feeling that it was like an umbilical cord had been cut, and I knew that I was all alone. I was in so much anguish. And one day I was looking out a crack in the door. I saw a new POW go by, and he was somebody that I knew. And he said, "My God, I'm glad that you are here because everybody thinks you're dead." I mean, that was the biggest shock almost as getting shot down.
For 2 years, Porter's wife, Marty, has believed her husband was killed in action and started to move on with her life.
For a very long time. Was absolutely, had no doubt that Porter was dead. We had held a memorial service for him, and by that time, I was in a close relationship with someone. I just thought, this is what my new reality is going to be. Then one Saturday morning, 6 men came to my house. They went on to tell me a letter had been smuggled out of Hanoi, and it listed the first 40 prisoners that had been taken captive in Vietnam, and Porter was among them. He was number 40. And everyone cried. And everyone clapped. It was so wonderful.
I was held in isolation. But one day I was called to interrogation, and the Vietnamese had a package there, a shoebox kind of thing. So I opened it up. My very most sweetest one, may this word that Dabney and I are well, happy, and are very much in love with you. Although separated physically, my heart and soul are with you. Your Marks. Those pictures meant everything to me. I was so overwhelmed by seeing my daughter Dabney for the first time since I had seen her when she was 5 days old.
I understand you received a letter not too long ago for Dabney from her father.
He just says this is a special letter just for you. I know from your pictures when you were only 4 how strong and beautiful you must be now. Please understand we must be apart for a while. But someday, when I come home, I promise to show you so many wonderful things in the world. Give Mommy a big hug and take good care of her until we can be together again. I am so proud of you. Love, Daddy. All of a sudden, I knew Porter was alive, and I needed to see if there was anything possible I could do to get him home.
We're here representing a newly formed American anti-war movement organization called the Indochina Peace Campaign, with the immediate focus of putting pressure on the Nixon administration to sign the 9-point peace agreement, and showing that public opinion has not been fooled by his Vietnam maneuvering.
The faces of Hollywood are trying to put pressure on President Nixon, a man who wants to keep all his options open.
We shouldn't have been killing those people, we shouldn't have been bombing those people, and it's up to people like you and me to say what we think.
Every day people are dying in Vietnam. We stand around here like a bunch of idiots. Who's right and who's wrong?
The United States is wrong.
Are you kidding me?
Point.
We're wrong?
Oh, you want one second over here from Vietnam? You wouldn't be here.
Scott Camille has also started to question the war and why America decided to invade Vietnam. He's left the Marine Corps and signed up for a college degree.
For a long time, I didn't question whether the war was right or whether the war was wrong. But after I got out of the Marine Corps was the first time in my life that I was actually in charge of myself. And then I went to college. I read in the student newspaper that Jane Fonda was coming to speak. I never thought about what she was going to say. I just wanted to see a movie star.
Young people of America today have rejected the principles upon which the American way of life is based. The success-oriented, money is sacred, opportunistic kind of values.
But then somehow some of her words captured me.
They realize that the institutions of America are collapsing, and the administration is trying to disguise the institutional collapse, and that scares them to death.
And she said the government was lying about the nature of the war in Vietnam and what was being done, and the public has to have access to the truth.
For us, peace in Vietnam brought about by our actions, that is victory.
And she said it was the duty of patriotic Vietnam veterans to tell the American public the truth about what was going on in Vietnam.
Attaining the ancient dream of democracy, which means quite literally power to the people. That is victory. And it is a victory that can only be won on the battlefield that is America.
She was right. I'm a patriotic Vietnam veteran. The public has the right to know the truth. I'm willing to talk about what I did in Vietnam. And so I decided to come forward.
In January 1971, over 100 Vietnam veterans publicly confessed to witnessing and taking part in war crimes.